Okay. So just settling in, both feet flat on the floor, about a hip's width apart. Can have your hands just resting comfortably in your lap. Shoulders align with your hips and your ears align with your shoulders. And maybe your ribs align with your hips as well. And just imagine you're lengthening your spine from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. And just try and put some space in between those vertebrae. And then just go to the crown of the head and release any tension there. Relax your scalp, the forehead, the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, the area around the mouth, and the back of the tongue, the jaw, the back of the head, the neck. And allow your shoulders and shoulder blades to drop down. Relax the throat and the chest and the belly. And all of your limbs. And notice the sensations of the breath as you inhale and exhale. So depending on your training or the shape of your nose, you may notice the air flowing in it at the tip of the nostrils, tip of the nose, the side of the nostrils, or I was taught the base of the nose. You may also you'll notice the air is slightly cooler as you inhale than when you exhale. And then you have the expansion and contraction of the thoracic region. Your diaphragm drops down as you inhale, it rises as you exhale. Just, you can feel your ribs expanding, not just to the front, to the back and the side as well. And then you may also notice the belly rising and falling. And so as we're meditating, maybe just focus on one of those set of sensations. Be aware of any sensory information coming to you in your environment. So sound, smells, and just allow it all to be there. Try not to run off and investigate with the mind. And now just have a look at what's in your mind this evening. Guarantee it'll be different tomorrow morning. So be aware of the things that are attractive to your mind and those things that are creating aversion. And just be curious about this very rich tapestry that we have going on inside our minds. And be curious and observant in a objective way, rather like a scientist looking at, checking an experiment or observing wildlife. You'd imagine you're making little notes in your notebook about what you see. So without any involvement, without any engagement, not getting emotional about what's there, just very clear about what you can see and no judgment. And then bring to mind all the people of your life. So you can start with the ones you love so dearly, then your strangers, and then ones you don't like so much. And due to this impermanent world we live in, these relationships can be interchangeable. Regardless of how you feel about any one of them at this particular time, they're all equal. They're just like you and me. They want to be happy, they don't want to suffer, and they all have this extraordinary capacity for a Buddha mind. So we think we'll do this practice this evening for all these people of our life, and by extension, all sentient beings, and for the members of our group who are not well and not here this evening because of health issues or because they can't just get to the computer. I haven't been obviously in to see Judith for a week, and I won't be able to go and see her until I come back from Hawaii. So she's there, very much enjoying the practice if she can get to a computer. So, think about people that come here regularly and aren't here right now. It's probably a reason. And then think there is no negativity that can't be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. So we create negativity with our mind. So equally, we can change that by creating positivity instead. And we start with this power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives, and think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. And we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions, and having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of any future suffering that we will experience. And we know from our present suffering, we don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want this suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret our delusions, our anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others, and then think again, I'm sick of this suffering, and then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So next we come to the power of reliance. And we turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor, who has these methods that we can use to purify. And it's not that we're needing the Buddha to forgive us, we're purifying ourselves by relying upon his medicine. So imagine Vajrasattva is above the crown of your head. You can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of this beautiful, radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. He has a beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two. And this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. In order to develop compassion, this is the second part of this reliance, we need to rely upon other beings. So think about people maybe you've harmed, and maybe those who have harmed you have harmed, and those who have harmed you. And think particularly of the people who have harmed you, because the harm they've caused you is going to result a suffering for them sometime in the future. So we don't think about that in terms of, ha ha, you're going to get yours. It's not that sort of attitude. It's more about, oh, you're going to suffer. So, because of this. So you have compassion for them. So compassion is a wish for them to be free from suffering. So this can be quite difficult when you've actually experienced considerable pain and suffering at the hands of another person or persons. So it's really difficult to keep the mind in check. But this is another way to think about it. So then we come to the power of remedy, and this is the practice of purification. And we start with the body and imagine Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart. And it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid, and this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Drita meboa sutukaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Saka Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Drita meboa, sutukaya meboa, zipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata ah hum pe, vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, vajrasattva dina patita, Drita meboa, sutukaya meboa, zipokaya meboa, Anorakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata ah hum pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita Drita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anorakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Sidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Sidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Drita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ah hum pe. So now be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think that there's no way you could do anything other than benefit others now with your body. And next is a purification of our speech. And Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra. And this arcs around and forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech. And this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So just imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking about people behind their backs and getting other people to agree with you. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra again. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitam Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitam me sitam shiyam kuro hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tathagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita jita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitam me sitam shiyam kuro hum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Humpe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Sidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Humpe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi Hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tathagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita trita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tathagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. Again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others with your speech, and that includes yourself. And next is the purification of our mind, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So you imagine that you've walked into a room and it's pitch black and you flick on the switch and the light that comes instantly dispels the darkness in the room. So think of it like that. So the same here. The moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, all your attachments, neediness, bitterness, anger, grudges, disappointments, anxiety, depression, all of this instantly dispelled, not one atom left as we recite the mantra again. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita jita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tathagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Jita meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ha ho bhagavan, sawa tathagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, Vajrasattva dina patita, jita meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorecta me boa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam Shriyam Kuro Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorecta Meboa Sawa Sidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuro Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorecta Meboa Sawa Sidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuro Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorecta Meboa Sawa Sidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuro Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. And think that there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. So you imagine nectar kind of pouring into you and pouring out of your lower orifices, and then nectar pouring up and pushing all the negativity of speech from the top part of the body. So down pushes out all the negativities of the body, and the up purifies all the negativities of the speech. And then you imagine now light coming and blasting all the negativities of the mind. So this is kind of this light, and this nectar fills you all at the same time and completely eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your mind. Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorecta Meboa Sawa Sidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuro Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorecta Meboa Sawa Sidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuro Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorecta Meboa Sawa Sidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuro Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorecta Meboa Sawa Sidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuro Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorecta Meboa Sawa Sidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuro Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorecta Meboa Sawa Sidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuro Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorecta Meboa Sawa Sidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Ah Hum Pet. So now feel completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And now we come to the power of resolve. And this is the fourth and final step in the purification process. And it's really a crucial one because here we have to decide. Decide I don't want to harm. I want to refrain from harming. And we want to refrain from harming with our body and our speech and our mind. And so without making this kind of a decision, we're just going to keep doing the same old stuff over and over again because we have habits and we're human. And this determination, this aspiration to not harm, to refrain from harming, becomes like a beacon that guides our body and our speech and our mind in new directions. Lama Zopa Rinpoche used to talk about everything existing on the tip of the wishes. So just think about something maybe you would like to work on. Keep it simple. Keep it short. Don't make like a big deal out of it. Otherwise, you'll never do it. And the habit may take time to eradicate. You might have a wish to do something and wish to refrain from something that might be harmful to yourself. And you just kind of somehow keep going back to it over and over again. And then one day it'll change because you have in the back of your mind, I want to refrain from doing this. Oops, here I go again. I want to refrain from doing this. And then gradually it'll just starts to kick in. Takes a bit of work. So imagine Vajrasattva is delighted with us, wants to merge with your mind and melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown, and think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So just a little bit on emptiness. So think, in emptiness, there is no I, no the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma. And there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. We can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. And we can also think that the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this practice to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. So let's just do our chanting the names of Manjushri, and here we are up to chapter 10 already. 10, the wisdom of performing actions. What all the perfect Buddhas are to know, the Buddha's unsurpassed awakening, devoid of syllables yet born of mantra, arising from great mantra's threefold family. The father to the meaning of all mantras, the greatest Bindu, void of syllables, with 5 great syllables, great empty one, 100 syllabled, devoid of Bindu, endowed with every form yet free from form, supporting half of 16 Bindus, transcending every grouping void of members, sustaining dhyana's 4th and final peak. Okay, everyone, let's have a strong wish for His Holiness the Dalai Lama to live long, for the swift return of our precious Lama Zopa Rinpoche, and for all of your own individual teachers to live long. All right, everyone, lots of love. So my voice is a little bit tired still from having flu. So tomorrow morning I won't do any chanting tomorrow morning. We'll do something else. We'll probably do a mind meditation, I'm thinking. All right, lots of love, everyone. Take care, and I'll see some of you tomorrow morning.